Movie Scouts 007, a keyboard Road Warrior series where we play Euro Truck Simulator 2 with just a laptop and its keyboard. No steering wheel, no pedals, no high definition graphics. So, today we are off on another journey. If we just double check where we left off, we were in Białystok, which is the upper east corner of the going east map, which is essentially the upper east corner of the entire European map at the moment. First things first, we need to repair, replenish, rest, and then we need to select our next destination for today's journey. So, engine on, and we're going to head to the, got in the habit now of putting the parking brake on and turning the engine off before I deliver a load. No. We've got some stuff coming, so... Right, let's, after this... So today I'm going to talk about what I want from the PC that I'm going to build at some point later this year, which is going to be the computer that I run this game on. At the moment I am looking at a Haswell processor. The theory being it's low power, which means it generates a low amount of heat, which means that I won't have to spend a lot of money or time thinking about cooling. And although I'm going to be living in a country where cooling isn't going to be a massive issue, we don't get a lot of hot weather. £528, I can live with that. Mostly wheels and chassis. I think that's that shunt I had. So we've got £30,200. That's going to be more because we're going to have a cup. We're going to rest. So at the moment it's 10 in the morning. I want to get that cycle around the other side because I don't want to be driving at night because it's not very interesting for you guys. Although I wouldn't mind delivering at night. I've discovered that the reversing light mod that I was using was not active. It had the incorrect file extension. As a result, it wasn't showing up. So when I reversed, it wasn't appearing. So I think... No, it's not. It's not showing. It should. There should be a light here. And it's not showing. Yeah. Whatever it is, it's not working. Which is a real shame. Okay, that's the first time I've gone to sleep and we've ended up with less money than when we woke up. But my guess is that that's because we paid a loan installment. Let's just go to the bank. Let's go to the bank to see how far we are into our loan. So we're 23 payments out of 70. We're not quite half yet. We're a long way from half. Half would be 45 payments. But we're a good chunk in, 23 payments. So that's not bad. So let's get our job. That's what we need to do first. We need to get a job. So we're in Białystok. So Leipzig. Ooh, where's Leipzig? Leipzig's in Germany. We've got Vienna. Odense, which is in Denmark. Linz, which is in Österreich, Austria. We get Hamburg. We're looking at a nice chunk for Leipzig though, and that's in the heart of Germany. Is there nothing in France or Italy? Nothing in France already, because it would be kind of nice to go to the new part of the Italian map, but it's looked like it's not happening. Perhaps that's because we're too far away. In fact, that's more than likely why. We're too far away. So let's select that as our GPS destination. And because it is my want, let's get a photo of that. Okay. Right, let's go. Let's get our load, and let's hit the road. So we've got. I pressed the wrong button. Press the stop. The down arrow, which actually is also works as the brake. So let's pick up our load. Stay on this side of the road. It's quite disconcerting driving a heavy load and then dropping it and going to the next load without anything dragging behind you. You kind of forget for a minute that the vehicle isn't nearly as cumbersome as it was before you dropped the load. So I believe ITCC is our destination. And indeed it is. There's our job. And we are taking our fuel tanker to Leipzig. We've got 26 hours. And it should only take us, well, we'll find out in a minute when we hook up the load. So let's pick up our load. And there it is, winking at us on the left of the screen. And we reverse up. Yeah, no reversing lights. That's really disappointing. It's a mod that a friend recommended, and when he plays with it in game, it looks fantastic. It essentially puts two giant white lights at the top rear of his cab, and when you reverse, it illuminates everything behind you, which if I was a real trucker I would absolutely want. So that's nothing coming. Let's rock and roll. So we're in Europe, so we're on the right hand side. And we're making a left turn. So 10 hours. It should take us 10 hours, and we've got 26 to do it. So let's go for it. I was playing on my private profile last night, and I was trying as much as possible to use the turn indicators. And sometimes it's possible to do, and sometimes it was causing me problems. But I will try and use those turn indicators. See, what it's done there is it's caused me to brake, which meant I could have missed that turn. But we're all good. And periodically, another problem with it is that the indicator won't turn off, so you've got to wait until you're on a long straight road where you can take your fingers off the keyboard, off the accelerator or the steering, in order to click it off. So we're going with Haswell as the processor. I'm not sure which Haswell processor is the best one to go for, and the ones I'm looking at look suspiciously cheap, given that Haswell is a giant stride in terms of power consumption and heat. Because that's what it is. Essentially, it's the Haswell processor. It changes the power consumption requirements for the processor, and it's that in turn means that that for instance on a laptop you use less battery power. And it also, because it's using less power, it's generating less heat. So as I said, that should mean that it makes it easier to keep the PC cool, which means it'll be easier to keep it quiet, which is for streamers a big deal. I have no idea what graphics card to get. That is going to be one of those things that I will look into closer to the time. The problem with trying to pick ahead of time with the graphics card is that the graphics card market goes through fluxes, and sometimes whoa, what the heck are you doing? That was really unnecessary. Brake checking. There will be months where there's a flurry of graphics cards, and then you'll see nothing for months and months and months, and then suddenly there'll be another flurry of new graphics cards. And there's a lot of competition between the two big players, Nvidia and is it ATI? Or is it Radeon? I forget now. But so I'm going to hold off on my decision about which one I want until I've saved. I'm earmarking £250 for the graphics card. That may change as I get closer, especially if I'm able to save money on one or more of the. Oh, we're being brake checked again. If I'm able to save money on one or two of the other components, then that'll change. All money that I'm able to save on other components, I will funnel into the graphics card fund. I'd like a solid state drive for the operating system and for the game installs. And all other drives will be hybrid. That's it. It uses a certain amount of RAM and for stuff that you use regularly, and the rest will just sit on a regular spindle drive. I would prefer if everything was on an SSD, but at the moment SSDs are just too expensive. It would make the other problem with SSDs is that they generate a little bit more heat than a traditional spindle drive. With a spindle drive, the only time the drive is generating any heat is when it's powering up the spindle to turn the disk, whereas an SSD is constantly checking files, and so it's generating heat. I don't know whether that means that the SSD generates more heat or less heat. I don't fully. A bit twitchy now after one of my journeys, after the last journey where that chap just appeared from nowhere. I'm a little twitchy at junctions with the AI. They don't seem to slow down for the junctions. They seem to barrel into the junctions hell for leather, which is it's a bit disconcerting. So I don't know whether a spindle drive generates more or less heat. That's something I will need to do some research on. But in terms of pure data access, I prefer everything to be SSD. The time savings on loading and access are significant. Still not immediate. Software designers still like to put barriers between you and your data. They like to produce little animations which eat up the amount of time it takes to open something. I wish they wouldn't do that. I wish they would just stop with making things look pretty. Things are pretty enough. If you focus on performance ahead of appearance, I think we'd all be a little bit happier. So the motherboard needs to be Haswell compatible. It needs to be compatible with the pin count of the chip that I select. So that's going to be determined. I will select the chip first. Then I will select the socket, the motherboard, depending on the socket requirement for that chip. But I want to try and get 32 gigs of RAM in the slots. I prefer as many PCIe slots as possible. I'd prefer onboard Bluetooth. I would prefer with the graphics card I want to get HDMI, but I don't know whether to get HDMI built in or whether to get a graphics card with HDMI, because I kind of want two HDMI sockets. I want an HDMI socket for an external game capture device, and I want an HDMI socket so that I can plug the computer into my television and play this game in particular on big picture mode on my big 50-inch plasma. But obviously the budget's going to be what the budget is. With me spending £350 on a PlayStation, an extra £50 on a second controller, probably 100 odd pounds on a Vita, and 138 quid on a Track IR. It's going to be an expensive June, July for me, which means that the components that I buy for the computer are going to be bought over probably a period of about 4 months, which means it's going to be, but from June, let's say July, it's going to be November before I can afford it. Obviously that gives me difficulties because Christmas comes up in December, and I can't spend all my money on a computer for me at Christmas, because that's just not within the Christmas spirit. So it might be months before I can afford it. But I mean, what I will almost certainly do is I will buy components. I will probably buy the motherboard and the chip at the same time. That will be an expensive month. Buy the parking brake. Keep forgetting to do that. The SSD. I will want a Blu-ray recorder, so that I can give recordings out on Blu-ray. I will want the case. The case I should be okay with the case I've got, but cases are inexpensive. We'll have to see what's the state of the case is when I get back to the UK. It is a little large. It's a huge case, and it might be that it's easier and more user-friendly to just buy a new case that's got more, that has easier access to everything. I will also probably need to change my power supply, because my power supply was rated for the equipment that I had rather than the equipment that I'm going to buy. So that's another expense. So it might be that the Blu-ray, the hard drive, and my memory, my short-term memory sucks. When I get back to the UK, I might have to go to the doctor and get some early onset Alzheimer's tests done. I'm not joking. My grandparents both had dementia, and it's a bit of a concern for me. So yes, the case might need yes, it was the case. The case might need to be replaced, but the case shouldn't cost more than £100. If it costs more than £100, then it better come with built-in cooling and a built-in power supply. So power supply, solid-state drive, and the Blu-ray recorder will be probably be another month. So that's 3. I can split these up over more months if it gets expensive. I might go, if the Haswells are looking like £300, but that looks a little cheap for me given what Haswell can do. It might be that that's a poor quality Haswell or a lower standard Haswell, and I need to look at a more expensive one. Or it may just be that I'm looking at OEM Haswells instead of retail Haswells. If you don't know what an OEM, the difference between OEM and retail is, the OEM you just get the product in a plain box, whereas the retail one comes with a load of paraphernalia and fancy printed boxes and instruction manuals. And if you need an instruction manual for a CPU, then you shouldn't be buying a CPU. But having built one computer and having enjoying the process and loving the fact that it was wonderful and it worked, and I had a great deal of joy from that computer. I want to build another computer. I want to build a computer for me, for this game. I want to build as fast and as powerful. Essentially, I want to build a computer where I can push those graphics from the lowest possible settings to the highest possible settings. And I want to be able to do that and still stream without interruptions and stutter. That's the dream. So yes, a high-speed Blu-ray recorder. I've got won't need a floppy drive, but I've got a floppy drive, and you never know. There may be something. I remember when I built my last computer in the 20th century. 21st century, still had. It was the 20th century, not the 21st century. It was the 20th century, and it still had the software for I think it was the disk drive, the CD-ROM drive, the software to run the CD-ROM drive came on a floppy disk. So, although I don't want a floppy drive, it might be that I need a floppy drive. Mind you, that said, I've got a laptop. Catherine, I can use a USB thumb drive to put that software on. I can download it on another computer and then just plug the thumb drive in, and all should be good with the world. We'll see, but I have got that floppy drive should I need it. Not that I believe I should need it. £5. That was a nice short journey there. So I've got a silver case that kind of looks like the recently replaced style of Mac Pro, not MacBook Pro, Mac Pro. MacBook Pro, ridiculous. Haswell processor, graphics card to be determined, high-speed Blu-ray recorder, USB 3 on the motherboard. It has to be USB 3. I want Bluetooth on the motherboard. Onboard sound. Onboard 7.1 will be fine. I don't want to put a sound card in. I really don't want to put a sound card in. There's absolutely no reason anymore to put a sound card in, because the sound cards that come on motherboards nowadays are more than adequate. And for the most part, I'll be playing this thing in headphones, so a massive sound card will be kind of a pointless exercise. I don't need a wired mouse, because I'm not going to be playing that kind of game where you need those massive response times. So a wireless mouse and a wireless keyboard, that will be particularly useful for big picture gaming in the living room. I want to put build in a game capture card, possibly an AVerMedia, but also, as I said, I want to be able to have an external one, because I'm going to record PS4 games onto an external game capture device, and so that's why I need the extra HDMI cable. I want an AVerMedia external game capture device for so that I can then upload the footage to my PC and then edit it, and then I can apply it to YouTube. So that's good. That's fantastic. That's, I think, most things that I'm thinking of. Also, I've got a reasonable screen, but it wouldn't hurt to have a nice big screen. It depends on how well big picture works. The screen will be the lowest priority because, as I said, I'm aiming to play this on big picture mode. That will make it more difficult for things like Democracy and Civ 5, which I intend on playing, and Football Manager. Well, Football Manager actually should be alright. Football Manager is mostly point and click, so I just need something to rest a mouse on, so that one should be alright as a lean back experience. So that should be fine. But ultimately, if the big picture mode doesn't work, I'll want a nice big, probably 27-inch monitor. They're quite reasonable. For a high refresh rate, for a 60 Hz, you're probably talking £250–300. If I wanted a 120 Hz one, I'm probably talking a lot more money. But it depends on I mean, the refresh rate on my TV isn't 100 Hz. So if I can live with the refresh rate with this game on big picture mode, even if it doesn't work as a way of playing this game, if I can live with 60 Hz, then I'll save myself a bunch of money. So we've got 8 hours of this journey left, and let's just double check how long we've got until we've got to sleep. So we've got 7 hours. So essentially, when we're getting close to our destination, I shall need to start looking for somewhere to sleep. But we're bags of time away from that. Let's look at the map, see where we are, and see where we are. So we're going to clip Poznan, but we're not going to go into it, so we're not going to look at it. We're going to drive the other side of Berlin, so we'll have almost looped Berlin without going to it. So we're not going to hit another city until we get to Leipzig. So that's not going to be an issue. I am guessing that I'm probably going to want to stop before Berlin. So I would imagine that I will be pulling in somewhere here. Depends on how much fuel we've got, and we're all right for fuel. You can see the fuel indicator there. It's mostly yellow, but the one I look at is that one there, and you can see that's full. That's very full because I believe we filled up with petrol just before we pulled into Białystok. I believe that yes. So we'll be fine for petrol. I just need to keep an eye out on rest times. So yeah, that is the computer I'm looking at in order to play this game. I'm looking for as high as possible a processing speed as I can get. The graphics card I will buy all by itself. That will be such an expense that I think it would be wise to just buy it on its own. I want to go for as high as possible as I can afford without it being ridiculous. I won't get a Titan, which is just ludicrous. A Titan is, or it was at the end of last year. I think it was still the most powerful graphics card on the market. It'd be nice to have a Titan, but it's ridiculously expensive. I think it's £2,000, £1,000 something. It's 3 zeros, sorry. So it's a lot of money, and I don't think that I'm certain I wouldn't get my money's worth from this game, because as beautiful as this game is, I think at a certain point there's very little to be gained from that kind of level of expense. It might help me with rendering of videos. That it might make my video rendering quicker. There's something else that I've got to consider. The video editing. I've got to select a video editing software. Now I would prefer to play this game on a Mac and edit it on Final Cut Pro, but I'm not going to have a Mac. This is going to be a PC. At the moment, I don't know what is the Premiere PC video editing software. I'm guessing the Premiere Pro. I don't know, but if anybody wants to make any suggestions, you're more than welcome to do in the comments below, and I'll give it all a good look and check out all the reviews, see what's what. But yes, video editing software, because I am, in keeping with the true low-tech nature of this particular playthrough, these particular games. Not only am I playing this on a very low-powered, low-end laptop, not only am I playing this with a keyboard instead of a gaming wheel, I'm also, and not only am I filming these off the screen on an iPhone, but I'm also using Movie Maker to edit them, which may explain £63. Okay, it's not bad. Which may explain why they don't look brilliant. I mean, considering the limitations of every piece of kit that I'm using, I'm kind of proud of what I've achieved with these little videos. But I can do much better. For a start, I think I've proved that I'm playing this on a keyboard, so really I want to be capturing this footage directly rather than using a video camera or an iPhone pointing at the screen. Because at this point, you guys deserve a better quality image. As low quality as this, as high quality as this low-end laptop is capable of, which frankly is the lowest possible settings that this game can run at. I should be editing this on a much better piece of software because it's not very intuitive. Movie Maker, it's very, very basic. It's all click and drag, and there's very little precision to it. In terms of sound quality, that sound actually is one of the few things that works on this, because the camera is right by my chin. My voice, my mouth is very near the microphone, and the mic on this iPhone isn't too bad. So actually what you're getting is a reasonable quality of audio recording, which is okay. I'm fine with the audio quality. You're not getting the audio from the game though. My commentary audio is fine, but the audio from the game is pretty ropey. It's a bit hit and miss, and I can't alter it after the fact. I've got to set what I think is an appropriate level of audio and hope that it's not too loud, that it masks, that interferes with the commentary, and it's not too quiet, that my commentary is completely obliterating it. And actually, given that, I think I might turn it up just a little bit. I'm going to pull in behind that green one, let that red bus come out, and then back in, because that green car, as slow as he's going now, he's going to rocket in front of me any minute now. You don't want to know how I've got the iPhone sat at the right level for videoing this screen. Suffice to say, it involves a mixing bowl and a bulldog clip. And obviously, because I'm using an iPhone, and I've only got a 16 gig iPhone 4, so I'm dealing with that quality of video, and I'm also dealing with video recording that isn't 16 by 9 for some reason that I don't quite understand. It's squarer. I'm also dealing with the lack of memory. I have pared what's on this phone down to as little as possible, and still I have to pause the video recording every sort of 45 to 50 minutes, which is why you'll see little jumps periodically. I will go into a menu and then the video will jump and we'll resume from where we left off. That's not going to change. because this is going to be the only device that records off the screen. As soon as I'm able to capture externally, I will capture externally. So hopefully that means that when I get back to the UK and I get my PS4, I'll get my AVerMedia game capture device. That should work with this laptop. So when the wife comes back to the UK with the laptop, I can carry on filming these. But instead of using this iPhone, I can actually capture the footage from the screen. So you'll start to see what I see. So you won't have to deal with sun reflections, you won't have to deal with the reflection of me and my iPhone and the screen. I'll be able to alter the volume of everything independently, including my commentary. I should be able to record my commentary onto the game capture device directly. So that's all going to be super. But not as good as when I've finished the PC build and I start the career, which is going to be the Logitech Road Warrior, or the G27 Road Warrior. That's going to be where I go from there. And I'm also going to, once I've got that computer, I'll be able to stream this game, and I will be putting my stream up on, it'll be on Twitch, and I'll be capturing them all so that I'm able to stick them on YouTube. And hopefully my PC will be of high enough quality that that won't take too long to do. And I'm going to have to put my lights on because I think it's night time. I don't need those. Why are we slowing to? Oh, we're coming up to a toll booth. That's why we're crawling along. All right, little red car, get by me. That's it. I want to be on that side of the road. So yes, the plan. See, and then you go. As soon as I get behind him, I'm actually going to tuck into a more open lane. Once I've got all of the setup ready, £42, it's getting more expensive. I think we must be in Deutschland. Are we in? Yeah, we are in Deutschland. We've passed Berlin. That's how in Deutschland we are. So yes, the ultimate dream is the fully spec'd PC that's capable of both gaming and capturing and streaming. And the Logitech G27 and the AVerMedia game capture card and the Track IR. Wow, that was really short. This is that customs shed that we keep going through. I'm going to put the high beams on so that you guys can actually see what's going on, because at the moment you really can't. And why is everyone travelling at 5 miles? We're doing 40. We could be going so much faster. Oh, I'm so impatient. It would be nice to be able to read the dials on the dashboard. I'm using the white lines, and I'm sort of getting used to what the speeds are. So straight, you see where the speedo is directly at north. That means it's at 70k. So that's my mark for 70, and that is usefully in 10-mile-an-hour increments rather than this stupid 20-mile-an-hour increments. Actually, where are we? Oh, we're still not the other side. For some reason I had it in my head that we were the other side of Berlin. No, we have just crossed the border into Germany. So that toll booth was in Poland. So we've done a significant chunk of our journey. And I think I'm going to try and get a snooze before we get to Leipzig. Because we are 4 hours away from needing a snooze. Sorry, no, more than 4. we're the thing is, I know, and you look at that and you say, well, you don't need to get a snooze. You don't need to go to sleep. You're minutes inside. But the thing is, as soon as you drop the load, you're in the desperate struggle to get to a rest stop. And given that we have 19 hours to deliver it, and it's going to take us less than 4, and a rest break is 11 hours. So that's 14 hours, gives us a spare 5 hours. There's no point in not taking a break. I should really, if I'd have been switched on, I should have taken it near the border. That would have been the intelligent thing to do. But who said I'm intelligent? Not me. So we are heading to the city of Leipzig that I don't know much about, but I need to learn. I want to learn. I think it's one of the things I'm using this game for is a sort of, I'm learning the correct pronunciations for the cities. So for instance, there's a city in the bottom right hand corner of the map, and I've heard some fantastic pronunciations of that city. But the genuine pronunciation is quite different. If I get round this, I will pull out the little note I made on how to pronounce it. But I've heard it pronounced Debrecen. I've heard a number of pronunciations for this city. But I decided to make the effort to go and find out exactly how to pronounce it. And I've lost a piece of paper with it on. Oh well. But I think it's Debrecen. It's Debrecen is how I think how you actually pronounce it. There's also another city. I think it's in the Czech Republic, and it's spelled Brno. And I've heard a lot of people try and pronounce it Brno, but it's actually pronounced Brno. It's pronounced Brno by locals, Brno. So yes, I'm learning. About cities. I find myself visiting the internet, places like Wikipedia and the tourist boards to get. When I visit a city after I've driven to it in the game, I find myself checking it out on Wikipedia and finding out about the city. So it's expanding my horizons and my awareness of the world my awareness of Europe, the world around me. I think it's a wonderful thing that it exposes people to new cultures, because you hear a lot of people will make no effort to ever learn how to pronounce their city names properly. They'll make no effort to find out anything about the cities they're visiting. And I think that's a wasted opportunity. Given that there are 69 cities in the basic game, another 13 in the Going East expansion pack. There are 30 cities in the ProMods map, something like that. I know there were 13 in the add-on, and there were 20 odd in the original Scandinavia map. I think given that there are less than 100 cities to discover, I think that's, once if you go on at very least go on Wikipedia. I know it's not the font of all knowledge, and sometimes the information can be incorrect, or it's been hacked, or locals have changed stuff to make it seem more important. I think given all that, even if you only go on Wikipedia to look to find out about these cities, I think you'll have achieved something. You will have learned something new about a place that you didn't know anything about before you did that. You will have become aware of a city, and you'll know where it is you'll know which country it's in and whereabouts in that country it is. That's, I think that's a wonderful thing. We are sadly, over the last 20 years, we've been in the process of fragmenting as a continent. And there are some stupid people in Scotland who want to fragment the United Kingdom. I think it's a really silly move. I love Scotland. My mother's father is Scottish. I don't call myself English, I call myself British. And Scotland is part of the British Isles. Scotland and England joined together under the first Scottish king of Great Britain. James VII of Scotland became James I of Great Britain when Elizabeth I died. And he united the two nations under one flag, the Union flag. I know a lot of people refer to it as the Union Jack. It's only a jack if it's on a ship. It's the Union flag at all other times. Although, to be honest, that really doesn't make any difference now. Those kind of rules have stopped being important. But I kind of like that it's called a Union Jack when it's in a ship. And there's a reason why it's a jack on a ship and not on shore. It's because it hangs from a jack. A jack is one of the spars that holds a little bit of sail. Here we go. Let's have a rest here. We're all right for fuel. Let's go through there and then. Can we get a rest? Yeah, we can get a rest. Okay, so we've had our rest. Let's get back on the road. We should be quite close to Leipzig by now. Yeah, we're quite close to Leipzig. An hour and a half, the game says. Obviously it'll be less than that. Let's pull out. So that truck's a little way behind us, so we should be okay to get out in front of it. Ooh, keep an eye on the road, Stephen. So, yes, learning about a city, learning about its cultures. I think it's a brilliant idea. And I'm trying to learn the pronunciations. I'm trying to find out how populous a place is, or what its major industries are, whether it's a place I'd like to visit or not. I'm not going to be able to visit all of these places in my life. I only have so many days of holiday, and I only have so much money. And obviously, it's not going to happen this year. This year we'll get back to the UK, and then we'll get back just in time to celebrate my wedding anniversary to my beautiful wife by going to the British Grand Prix. Now that sounds like that's me persuading my wife to go to the British Grand Prix. Wouldn't it be a good idea? This has been her idea since our first anniversary. Her idea. I have loved Formula One since I was 14 years old, and I've been watching Formula One since 1984. I have sadly missed almost every single race in the 2013 season because the beginning of the race season, Sky had most of the races. I got to see one race before we came to New Zealand. I get to New Zealand, and New Zealanders don't follow Formula One at all. In fact, the news only talks about Formula One if something tragic happens. So in fact, in the last, or something spectacular has happened. Since we've been here, Formula One's only been on the news twice. Once when the Marshal in Canada died, and once when Vettel won the world title. And that's it. That's all the Formula One that's been on New Zealand news. Given that New Zealand is the home or the birthplace of Bruce McLaren and Denny Hulme, two outstanding Formula One drivers. That's a little surprising. You know, it's their choice. They've decided rugby is so important that they've got no time for anything else. In fact, the only other sport they seem to have time for at the moment is basketball, although cricket is creeping in. They've had reasonable success against West Indies, who are a top-class international test side. So, oh, we need to... Whoa. I just don't seem to be able to get away with any damage on my tractor. It doesn't matter how hard I try, although it doesn't help that I do things like that. Last minute change of direction. So I am tremendously excited about getting my new computer. I am going to try all sorts of configurations to see which one works best. Obviously I will continue to do the Keyboard Road Warrior series, but as I said, my hope is that the game capture card plugs into that I'm going to buy for my PS4 also works with my laptop, with this laptop, so that when the wife gets back from New Zealand I can continue with this Keyboard Road Warrior series, but do it much cleaner manner. That would be my aim, to be able to film these straight from the raw data, so that you're getting to see everything that I see. So we're in Leipzig, we're nearly in Leipzig, we're about to discover Leipzig. We'll drop off our load and then we'll go and fix our lorry and we will get our money. There we go, Leipzig is discovered, another city. Discovering the cities is reasonably important. Discovering the cities means that you can free roam to them and take a job from them. You can click on them. Which you can't do if you haven't discovered them yet. So we're about to discover a recruitment agency. I think we've got to make a right turn to drop off our cargo. Yes, we've got to make a right turn to drop off our cargo. So this is where our cargo goes. Okay, FCP. Okay, and we'll duck it underneath this archway. And then we'll park our trailer. See if we can get this one in one go. It's not looking likely at the moment, but you never know. Miracles can happen. It can happen to you if you're young at heart. Now this is not going to be an in-one. Oh, that's awful. Are we going to clatter into that? No, we're alright on that front. But we're not going to get this in one. Oh, this is going badly, guys. I'm so sorry. I apologise to my friends and family and everybody who knows me. Oh, we might have it now. We might have it. We might be in. We might be in. We might be in. No. Whoa. We didn't straighten up enough. There we go, we're in. So, parking brake on, engine off. Let's ditch the trailer. Excellent! We got an excellent! And we got level 14. So, where were we? Yes, so Białystok, 802k, 19 hours and 32 minutes, 355.8 litres of fuel. Base reward of £18,193 and 802 XP, a level 12 proficiency bonus of £3,274, an EDR delivery bonus, class 3 of 168 XP, a long distance delivery bonus for skill rank 2 of £1,771 and 200 XP, and the parking bonus of 45 XP, giving us a total of £23,238 and 1,215 XP. We are a level 13 skilled worker, 19,324 lifetime XP. Our next level is at 21,600 XP. We are done. We are golden. We're out of here. We're history. Until the next video. So thank you very much for sticking with me. Thank you for watching the video. If you've watched it all the way to the end, personal hero. And until I see you in the next video, I will see you on the road.